Hey everybody, welcome to the 1804 show, chapter 2. I'm your host, Dollar Will, and this is another episode of 1804 History. Yeah, I promised everybody that I was going to do this, and I'm just going to make sure that, I don't be the typical storyteller since everybody think I don't get my facts straight. You know who you are. But yeah, we going to talk about um just a few things here. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Paid in Full, so I'm not going to um, give any details that y'all know about or may not know about. But I'm just going to drop a few gems that wasn't in the movie and just talk about just this scenario. Well, first, the one thing that the movie get wrong was that Rich and his little brother was buried like a month apart from each other. But in the movie, they had like a joint funeral, but it wasn't like that. Rich was found first, and then his brother Donnell was found afterwards. Once the gang found out that they wasn't going to get any money, so they decided to kill Donnell because he already seen their faces and everything. So he was killed, and he was working a regular job before he decided to go into the game. He was bagging groceries for a living, but then he wanted more than that, so he just went on the block. And everybody who knew him, excuse me, that he was very charismatic, very flamboyant, never wore the same outfit twice, had dozens of cars, luxury cars, in a garage in Manhattan and stuff. And it's crazy because he was only 24 years old when he died. He died January 3rd, 1990. And the craziest thing about that is he didn't have to die. He died over jealousy. And can you imagine, facing hate and envy from your uncle? Because everybody know him as Ice, but his uncle name was Apple. And pretty much Apple, I would say that the movie kind of softened him up a little bit. He was really ruthless, you know what I'm saying? Because he really was on them drugs. He was on heroin. But at the time, he was working for Rich because Rich wanted to put him on because he was just asking Rich if he could help him out, you know what I'm saying? Make me a part of your crew. And that's one thing that Rich Porter would do was put any and everybody on without thinking of the consequences, without thinking of the dangers that comes with trying to help everybody. Because when you try to help everybody, that's when things go sour. And he was just really liked in the community. He was a phenomenal basketball player. He loved rap music. Um, just had a crazy shoe collection. Crazy. So he was, he wasn't like the typical drug lord or gangster that can't be ruthless and evil and psychotic and everything like that. He was just a person that grew up in poverty and decided to sell drugs, which I don't knock anybody who's trying to make a living or want a better life, but it's just you have to know the rules of it. And I just think in the end, he just wanted to get his little brother back, that he put his trust in the wrong person. And we all know who I'm talking about, Alpo. You know what I'm saying? And just hearing him give the details of how he killed them and where he dumped his body at just really showed that he was a narcissistic jerk, an entire demon. Because he admitted it that he killed Rich, and talked about how his associate, because in the movie they show him kill him, but really that was like in a white van, and his associate, Big Head Gary, that's crazy. Big Head Gary shot him twice in the back of the head, and also in the chest multiple times. So Gary was so small, puny, and he couldn't move his body because he was so heavy. Well, Rich was heavier than him. So Alpo had to get out and help him get the body out the van. So he had made a noise. Rich had made a noise, and it showed that he was alive. And just going through his mind, like, dang, like, I trusted you. I brought you into my clique. I brought you into my circle, and this is the thanks I get. And he finished him off and dumped him at a remote area in the Bronx. And that's just tough, man, because like when you really think about it, he killed three people. He killed his henchman, he killed Rich Porter, and he killed his little brother Donnell Porter. Because if he wouldn't have killed Rich, then um, Donnell Porter would be alive today. But just imagine, these are kids, Um, Donnell was only 12 and Rich was only 24, so he was like a father figure to him. Just like in the movie, pretty much display their relationship. And it's just, when you find out kids are involved, like it hurts. It hurts that anybody would kill a kid, harm a kid. And it's just, you got to be a monster. Not only that you chop one of his fingers off, but you killed him and put his body in trash bags. And people don't really didn't really know about how evil and sadistic this gang, the Preacher's Crew, the Black Truth Gang, they were like one of the ruthless gangs in New York. They had like so many people on the payroll. This was like some New Jack City stuff for real, for real. Like Therefore Record stuff for real, for real. If I can have a comparison of it. But it was just one of those things that just was unfortunate. All because you had a hating ass uncle that his nephew was making more money than him, and he couldn't handle it. He couldn't take it. And then you got one person who wants your spot, who wants um, your position, and he kills you and make up a lie and say that you owe him some bricks, you owe him some money. and then go back to his neighborhood, go back to his block, and watch everybody cry. And then you try to get somebody else, but they were smart enough to see the scratches on your face, and then ended up snitching. Couldn't do his time. And everyone glorified the murderer. Everybody was saying rest in peace to Alpo when he died and everything like that. But hey, karma can only um shit, karma come after everybody. Keep playing with God, you will find out what's really real out here. Everything we do has a reaction. Every action is a reaction. And can't be doing people dirty for the rest of your life and not expect you to face judgment. And this is not like a disrespect then a dead or nothing like that. This is the truth. Everybody was upset about that. Everybody was hurt about that. Not just Rich Porters, but everybody. He killed a lot of people. He was literally like a serial killer. But Rich, all he wanted to do was just, you know, have the good life. He was taking care of his family. He was um, paying the bills. He was the breadwinner. He was the father figure. And everybody just sit back and ask, so why he didn't move his people out the hood? Like, no, you young. Like, you're not thinking about, who can come after you and how many ops you have. And I'm pretty sure he had ops, but, he wasn't thinking about that. He was just having fun, riding dirt bikes and just chilling with his friends and going to the clubs and shopping. That's all he was just really thinking about. He wouldn't think that the biggest op that he had was his own uncle, his own flesh and blood. And you got to be really careful about who can be jealous of you. Anybody can be jealous of you. Don't underestimate nobody hatred towards you because it would cost you dearly. It would cost you your life because you got people who hate their own kids. You got people that hate their own parents. You got people that hate their siblings, vice versa. So you have to be really careful about who you deal with and who you floss around, who you flex around, who you trying to stun on. So that person may be very close than you think. That person will cost you your life. And he's dead, he's been dead for 30 years. Rich Porter would be at least 54 years old if he would have lived. Just think about that. He would have been 54 years old if he would have lived. And he probably would have grew out of that stuff. He probably would have went legit. He probably would have had a degree or multiple degrees because he was really smart. He would have probably owned real estate. Probably would have had his own restaurant. Probably would have at least went into business for himself because he was very a legitimate businessman. Like he met with like the Colombians and all that stuff. So he was really smart, very smart, way beyond his years. So it just goes to show like you gotta be careful who you show your money to. You gotta be careful who you associate with, who you kick it with, because he would have never known his own uncle was gonna bring him down. And his uncle Apple, a little bitch ass motherfucker, went to prison. He's out now, back in Harlem, like nothing happened. I don't know if he's still close to the family or not, but hey, I hope he, you know what I'm saying, hope he have a miserable life for what he did to his nephews and his sister kids. Cause his mother lost both sons around the same time. So just imagine being a mother losing both your sons around the same time over jealousy. But yeah, just want to say rest in peace to Richard Porter and his little brother Donnell Porter, and anybody who was affected by their passings. Um, I'm sorry that y'all had to endure all that. But yeah, that will include tonight's episode. Um, Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, the 1804 Show Chapter 2. Hit that like button, donate to the Cash App, $, the 1804 Show, and I'm out. Peace. Have a good night.